Hey everybody, welcome back to the Working Man's Whiskey. I'm Bobby. Happy Sunday, everybody. Tomorrow, back to work, back to the grind. But wanted to fit in one more review this weekend, and hopefully I'll get a couple more reviews coming on this coming week. I got a little time on my hands. I do have to work, but the wife and girls, wife's still she's still off work from having our baby. Our second baby girl, and they're gonna go camping this week with my in-laws. So it'll just be me here, and try to fit in a couple reviews this coming week. Today's review, as you can see, is kind of a double review. It is a double review. I'll be reviewing a couple different kinds of scotch from Glenlivet. First one's gonna be the Founders here. Founders Reserve. And Founders Reserve, guys, they call it that because George Smith founded the distillery in 1824. And they say that the Founders Reserve is kind of what he had in mind when he first envisioned his distillery. He wanted something light. He wanted something kind of fruit forward. So this is kind of what they've created to kind of capture that. And a little bit of controversy with this one, guys. I've read that, at least in some places, the Founders Reserve is going to be, if it hasn't already, it's going to be kind of taking over for the Glenlivet 12, which to me is one of the standards in Scotch. I mean, the 12 is just such a classic Scotch whiskey. It's the first Scotch whiskey I ever tried. And it's what got me into kind of being interested in seeing what there was to Scotch. At a time where I was just drinking bourbon, Tennessee whiskey, Glenlivet, kind of the 12-year, just picked my interest and kind of broadened my horizons a little bit. So be sad to see if that one goes. Hopefully it's not everywhere. I know the 12 is still available around here in California. But, guys, keep me updated if you know anything about that. So the other one here is the Glenlivet 15. 15 years, aged in French oak. And this is actually my favorite of the Glenlivet line. We'll talk about it in a little bit. But 15 years, it's some good age for Scotch, and I believe these guys make the aged Scotch all the way up to probably 20-something years, if not a little bit more than that. But that's some good age on that whiskey there. So let's take a look at this one first, the Founders Reserve. And I don't know the age on this, by the way, guys. I'd venture to say that it's definitely less. Definitely less than the 15, but even less than the 12 as well. Don't know the exact age statement, but I think it's probably a fairly young whiskey. I'll do a little more research. If you guys can find anything about an age statement on this one, let me know. So anyway, looking at it, it's a light color. It's a gold color. Not a whole lot to this one, but you can't always tell, especially when it comes to Scotch. With some bourbons that are kind of light, sometimes people question them because, it's kind of a lighter bourbon, probably not aged that much, 2 or 3 years, and people usually or sometimes associate that with a cheap whiskey, and that's not always the case, so don't judge a book by its cover. It's pretty light color though, let's go into the nose. Sometimes I spend too much time on the look of these things, but on the nose, it's a nice maltiness right there. I believe that these are Speyside whiskeys, so you're not going to get the smokiness that you get in an Islay or something like that. The Speysides tend to just be more rich in malt. So you get maltiness, you get some light fruit notes in there, some like citrusy notes in there. Let's take a sip. Yeah, guys, that's what I'm getting. You got a good amount of malt in there. You got like a creaminess, kind of like maybe a little bit of vanilla, maybe a little bit of toffee in there, and definitely some citrusy type notes. Almost like a zestiness, maybe even a little bit of almost like a little bit of pineapple in there, but I'm thinking more of a like lemon peel or maybe a little bit of orange peel in there. But it's a good light whiskey, and as far as rating goes, I mean, when you consider everything, a big bottle of this stuff, regular sized bottle of this, 750 milliliter, I believe it is 750 milliliter. I believe is about $30 around here. I've seen it high 20s to low 30s, so right there about $30. And I'd rate it out probably. It's a good whiskey, good Scotch, but definitely not my favorite in the line, in the Glenlivet line. I'd probably give this like an 85, guys. I think that's kind of a fair, it's a good price and a good whiskey. Not a great whiskey, but a good one. So 85 is probably a fair number to throw out there. Let's finish this up. Yeah, just a good light sipper. It's nothing too fancy, but affordable, good whiskey nonetheless. So let's cleanse the palate a little bit. All right, so on to the 15, guys. As I said, this one was aged for 15 years in French oak, and this happens to be my favorite of the Glenlivet line. If you look at it, it's definitely, as I said, sometimes you can't tell much by the color of a whiskey, but this one is definitely darker than the Founders over here. And, I'm thinking that might lend to a little more, oakiness on the palate there. So let's give it a nose. And this one is just, man, the nose, it just kind of radiates through your nose for a second. It just, you get some like darker fruit notes in there. Definitely get some of the oak barrel, the cask there. Definitely get the malt still. But it just overall just smells like a richer, more full-bodied Scotch than the Founders Reserve. So let's give it a taste. And with this one, guys, you get that barrel right away. Definitely more oak influence in this one, being aged for 15 years in French oak. Good long time. So you also definitely still get the maltiness, that classic maltiness that you get with Speyside products, Glenlivet products. But just a lot more full, just fuller bodied Scotch here. So you get more like orange and orange zest. Definitely heavier citrus influences though. Maybe even a little bit of grapefruit. But I just love everything in this one. I mean, you get it's this one on steroids and just just a whole lot more character. Just darker fruit flavors, that oak influence, definitely some spice in there. A lot of spice in there, actually, guys. Just everything is magnified, and in my opinion, just an overall better product. And I definitely recommend getting this one, the 15. Definitely more expensive. This one I find actually had a big bottle a while back, and it was a gift, and that was the first time I'd had it, and that was probably, I'm guessing, about 5 years ago now, 5 or 6 years ago, and fell in love with the stuff right away. But a bottle of this is usually $45-$50, something like that. So definitely more money. But sometimes, in this case right here, you kind of get what you pay for. This is a good whiskey, as I said, the Founders, but at $30, you're gonna get. It's just a lighter product, and no offense to it, it's a good sipper, but really doesn't hold a candle to this one. The 15 here, I would rate this out. I'd say like a 94 out of 100. I think that's probably a good number to put out there. It's just it's everything I want in a Scotch, really, in a Speyside Scotch. It's got some oak influence, just a spiciness, but you get that maltiness that is the classic Glenlivet taste. So get out there, try these out, guys. Maybe this one's for you, maybe this one's for you, but definitely the 15 for me. If you guys have any recommendations, whether it's Scotch, Irish whiskey, Tennessee whiskey, or bourbon, I welcome your suggestions. I can't even talk right now. I swear I'm not drunk. But anyway, I have another review coming up. Hoping to get 2 in this week. One of them is going to be, I'll tell you right now, I'm going to compare Maker's Mark with the Maker's 46. I really love the 46, so we're going to check those 2 out. We've reviewed the original Maker's Mark, but I want to compare it to the 46 and just tell you what I think. So anyway, guys, look forward to talking to you. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my Facebook page. Just type in the Working Man's Whiskey, and you'll see my picture there. Check me out. I'm going to be, I'm just like talking to you guys. Frank, I just wanted to give a special thanks to Frank. He wrote to me, and we were talking, kind of conversating about whiskey a little bit. So I love talking to you guys. Frank's one of my viewers here, and appreciate all the input and the comments, and just love doing this stuff, guys. So cheers to you all, and until next time, cheers.